G'day ladies and gents, welcome to MagzTV and welcome to my first ever official vlog. Now I've done videos like this in the past, however it's always coincided with reaching a subscriber milestone for the channel. But coming up on 5,000 subs and getting a bit larger and having a little bit to say, getting a lot of questions coming in, I thought it was about time that I actually started doing these for real. I'm going to do one of these videos possibly once every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on whether or not there's questions to answer, whether or not you're asking anything, and whether or not there's anything I want to talk about. So they will be spread over. They won't be weekly. They'll come when they come. Now, I don't actually have a name for this series, so if you guys want to drop a line in the comments, let me know what you think I should call it. I don't really have a name. You know, Jingles has Mingles with Jingles, Side Strafe has the Strafing Run. What do you think I should call this one? So first things first, why have I started to do a vlog now? Why not another time? Well, this video is also a public service announcement. There will be no uploads to MagzTV for around the next week. And that is because the last of my computer components should be arriving sometime tomorrow. For those of you who are new to the channel or don't really know what I've been running, all the videos that you've seen uploaded to this channel have been on a AMD 7750 2.3 GHz dual-core CPU running 4 gigs of RAM with a NVIDIA 9600 GT video card that I assembled in very, very late 2007. It's an old machine. It was cutting edge at the time that I built it, brand new componentry, but it was built in 2007, and since that time it has had pretty much no upgrades to it, bar one, which I'll come to later. The new machine that I've ordered in is an AMD hex core, 3.6 GHz, 16 gigs of RAM. It's going to have 120 gigabyte SSD that will be solely for War Thunder Kerbal Space Program and down the track Elite Dangerous, as well as of course the operating system for the computer. And I've gone with an NVIDIA 760 Titanium for the new video card. I will be dual booting video cards in the future, but for the moment I've just gone with one because of budget constraints. So this is a hell of an upgrade coming in. Unfortunately, my old computer is not going to survive the changeover. The one upgrade that was done to it in the time since I built it was to install a 6TB hard drive array. Now I need this for bulk storage, so of course it's going to have to be yanked out of the old computer. Taking into account that this will be a brand new machine with nothing installed on it, so I'm going to have to get Windows 8.1 installed on, all the drivers for the system installed on, reinstall War Thunder, reinstall all of my my recording software, all of my editing software, everything that I do is going to have to be redone. It's going to take me a little time to get all that organised. Add to that, as anybody who has flown with me while I've been recording will tell you, I'm pretty pedantic about the quality of my videos, making them the best they possibly can be. Well, the new computer should have no problems recording in 1080p movie mode, at least 30 frames a second. It could probably go out to 60, but I'm not going to go that far simply because of the size of the files I'll have to upload. The upload times will be too excessive. Although, maybe not, we'll have to find out. But regardless of that, it means I'm going to have to re-record all of my videos for my introductions. They will all need to be redone. Any battles that I've had saved at this point in time will not be going onto the channel, so all new battles are going to have to be recorded once the intros are made, and even my logos and markings for inside of my videos are going to have to be redone in HD, so they're at a quality level that I find acceptable with the new machine. All of this combined, I'm anticipating will take me about a week to get in order. If I can get it done sooner and faster, videos will be up quicker, but we'll have to see what happens. While we're on the subject of the channel, I do have plans for a couple of videos I want to show once this changeover is done. The first will be a new player tutorial on cloud movement and how to use the clouds both to attack and to evade. There's a lot of new players that really don't understand exactly how you can manipulate the clouds to your advantage, so I think that's one that some of you will find very useful. The second thing I have planned is a grinding tutorial. Now, I've unlocked all the planes in the game, but it appears there's some people out there that are really having trouble getting into a highly efficient and easy groove to unlock the planes that they want. I would have done this in the past already, but I'm waiting for the next patch to come out, so there is actually an aircraft for me to grind for demonstration purposes. At the moment I can explain the theory, but I can't demonstrate it, as everything in the game is unlocked. The third and final thing that I have planned, for those of you who have been around the channel in a while, remember my A20 series of videos. I did a historical series of videos covering the A20 airframe, talking about the A20G, the Boston and the Havoc, as they stand in game and what they were historically designed to do, where they actually came from, how they wound up in the air forces they wound up in, and how they were traditionally operated. I haven't done a historical video like that since. I am looking to restart that series, and I will be looking at particular airframes in sequence. So I'll either be doing a line on the LAs from start to finish over a series of videos, or maybe the Spitfire airframes. I haven't exactly decided on which one I'm going to do next, but I would like to take that back up. War Thunder is a great game for just going out and flying in some aircraft that you may know from history, but I think one of its strengths is it also opens up the doors to that history to new people that may not have researched into some of these aircraft and how they came into being in the first place. And I want to make that part of my channel, just a small segment where I talk about where these planes come from, why they were designed, what they did, what they were designed to do, and how they were actually used. So next up, current events. With patch 1.43 looming on the horizon, it appears Gaijin may have turned the corner on public relations, and thank Christ for that. For those of you who haven't been monitoring what's been going on, very recently Gaijin posted a new set of rules for the forums that apply directly to the moderators within the game, limiting their powers and limiting what they're able to do, preventing some of the more atrocious things that have been happening on the official forums. Add to that, they've also made it mandatory for all of the moderators to spend time on both the official forums and Reddit in discussions, rather than just standovering their powers. And last but not least, and this is possibly the most important one that shows where Gaijin's going with this here, they've granted amnesty to every single account that has received a ban in the history of War Thunder up until this point. And that is to say that they're removing the bans, removing the black marks against players so everyone can return to using the forums again. This is a very important one, because this is basically Gaijin admitting that they acknowledging the fact that people have had account bans for an unwarranted reason. For those of you who have been around for a while with me will know I don't really use the official forums because of the vitriol that was floating around there. I mainly use the Reddit forums. But you'll also note that I haven't been posting there a lot recently because, well, really Reddit was getting just as bad. However, since these announcements went through, I have noticed a change in the wind. The posts going up on Reddit have all gone from, well, mostly from some fairly abusive and angry posts to intelligent discussion of the various issues within War Thunder, and back to having some of those fun posts back up again. Add to that all the moderators have been making appearances inside of these discussions and, again, having adult conversations about various things going on within the game. Some of them have actually been quite helpful. This is a very, very, very good sign for the health of the game for me. I'm still reserving judgment on whether or not it is a complete fix, but it is certainly looking good at this time. With the preliminary patch notes for 1.43, including things like adjustments to the B-17 damage models and defensive gunners, as well as adjustments to how 30mm cannon hit detection and damage works. These are two things that were major issues, and a little note that was hidden away on the forums that Gaijin is currently looking into other options for the BR system and the matchmaking system. These lead to good signs in the game. Of course, no time frame or information on the changes that could potentially be made with the BR system or the matchmaker were listed, but the fact that they are actually having a look at it, it has me hopeful in conjunction with everything else. So overall, the last month in War Thunder, I've been pretty happy with what Gaijin's been doing. They seem to be taking a step back from the brink, which is really all any of us could hope for at this time. So our next thing for the day, the Sky Police. Yes, this one's been popping up left, right and centre, and I have been getting asked what are my opinions on them. What a bunch of cockheads. Now, before everyone jumps into the comments at their defence, hear me out. Listen to this from start to finish and you'll understand why I have this opinion. They're actually doing more harm to the situation they find themselves in at the moment than good. Now, I've said it in the past and I'll say it again now. It is not our job as players to balance Gaijin's game for them. That's Gaijin's job. Our job is just to play the game and enjoy ourselves. By going around and ramming B-17s that are on your own team, just generally being arse-hats in SB and now in RB as well. Both Simulation Battle and now Realistic Battle are suffering from this, but I'll come to that in a moment. You're actually making the problem worse for yourselves. What you are doing by ramming these bombers, by playing the role of the Sky Police, is you're making yourself a bigger problem than the B-17s or any of the bombers in Simulation or Realistic Battle ever were. But at exactly the same time, you are lessening the problem of the B-17s by removing them. Well, you're going to say, we're doing the right thing then, we're fixing it up. No. What you're doing is making your accounts vulnerable to bans, so all the effort you've put into the game being set up to be removed. Completely erased. You're out, you've got to start again. By lessening the problem on the B-17s, however, you're reducing Gaijin's need to actually correct anything in Simulation Battle mode, to put any restrictions on, to apply cockpits, to change the way the gunner view works. If you're doing this, all they need to do is ban you, but leave enough of yous floating around to continually ram the B-17s, and they have to do absolutely nothing to correct the issue, because the problem is balancing itself out. If you want to fix a problem in this situation, you have to let the problem get to the point where it's going to be fixed. By trying to balance the problem yourself, you're removing the need to anything to be changed. Right now, with the situation the Sky Police is creating, they have absolutely no need, I'm talking about Gaijin here, has absolutely no need to change a goddamn thing in Simulation Battle. Half the B-17s going to matches are being rammed by their own teammates. If they ban 2 or 3 of the people that ram too many aircraft, that keeps the B-17 pilots happy as the Sky Police are being punished. The B-17s are not prominent in the match. They don't need to fix a thing. They don't need to adjust anything within the game. You've just extended the length of time it's going to take to fix the problem in the first place. The second problem here is the mob mentality. Everybody likes to make themselves out to be the vigilante, the person who's doing the right thing for the right reasons to try and fix a problem, even if they're not meant to be the ones doing it. Everybody wants to be goddamn Batman, which is why this has spilled out from Simulation Battle, where it really was a problem, and it's now starting to pop up in realistic battles. The B-17s are not a great problem in Realistic Battle anymore. People have worked out how to deal with them. Things like the B6R3 are being spammed in huge numbers, and B-17s fall like wheat in front of those things. The damage models and defensive gunners on these aircraft are still a bit of an issue, but as I said before, they're in the patch notes to be adjusted in the very next patch. They are going to be fixed. But the mob mentality is having these people come into Realistic Battle and act like douches there, slamming into aircraft, shooting people down, team killing, and generally being assholes. The third and final thing here is nobody in this game. Doesn't matter how much you've spent, how much time you've spent on this game, how much money you have spent in this game. Nobody has the right to tell any other person in this game what they can and cannot fly. You have a responsibility to your account, you don't have a responsibility over anybody else's. If somebody wants to fly a B-17, that's their right to do so. Fly an appropriate plane to deal with them, or just wait until the next patch comes out and corrects the problem itself. You don't get to tell people what you fly. If you start trying to enforce that, you're being a cockhead. I see these comments fairly regularly, that bombers, and specifically B-17s, in Simulation Battle mode and Realistic Battle mode are a cancer. Well, guess what? The Sky Police are a cancer too, but they're just a different kind. The B-17 and bomber pilots in Simulation Battle, and to a lesser extent Realistic Battle, are a lung cancer. They're slowly choking the life out of the game, and they do need to be dealt with. But the Sky Police are a colon cancer. You're a bunch of arseholes that are ruining the game for everyone, just as much as the B-17 pilots are. Cut the shit. You're not a masked vigilante, you're not Batman, you're not helping the problem, you are in fact making the problem worse than it already is. Just let the problem fix itself. If you really want to do anything about it, go out of your way to make the problem worse in terms of the bombers. Fly out nothing but organised squads of B-17s and rip the game to pieces in Simulation Battle mode. Make it harder and harder for pilots to fly. You're not breaking any rules then. Nobody can tell you what you can fly. You're messing the simulation battle mode up for everybody else around you without breaching any of Gaijin's rules and increasing the problem of the B-17s and bombers in general to the point where Gaijin will have to deal with it. They will have no choice but to. Much like me choosing to fly the CL-13 regardless of its current status within the game because I feel like flying the CL-13, this is the only way to correct the problem. Make the problem worse to the point where it has to be fixed. Trying to do anything else, you're just making it harder on yourselves. So that's pretty much all I have to say for current events. Hopefully by the time the computer's all done I'll have more to do in another video as patch 1.43 goes into open testing and eventually into the live servers. Nothing else much has been going on that's worth discussing at this time, I think. So let's knock over a couple of questions that are fairly commonly asked in all of my videos. First up, will I ever participate in sim battles? Well, the answer is yes, I will be participating in sim battles in the future. The only reason I haven't already is because of head tracking issues. I've spent quite a lot of time getting all my joystick configurations just the way I like them, and at the moment it is working beautifully. I can fly pretty much anything into the game with absolutely no problems whatsoever, but the head tracking is proving to be a major issue. I originally thought it was a problem with the FaceTrack No IR software that I was using for head tracking, but it's starting to look more and more like the old computer here is a problem. Tracking a person's facial movement is actually quite CPU intensive. Between running the recording software, running the game software, and running the tracking software all at the same time, I think the old girl just did not have enough horsepower to be able to process all the data in order to make it work, which is why I was continually having issues where the tracking software would just lose complete track of what was going on and spin the camera off in a random direction, usually at the absolute worst possible time. Fingers crossed, with the software installed onto the new machine, she should have more than enough power that this will not be a problem anymore. Well, I'd like to think so. 6 cores should fix the issue. And I will be in sim battles with the new machine. Another commonly asked question is, Mags, how long did it take you to unlock all the aircraft in the game? Well, I actually recorded the time at the moment that I completed my last aircraft unlock. It took me 849 hours, 55 minutes and 57 seconds over all game modes in a time frame of about 10 months, and I maintain a premium account for about 8 months of that 10-month time period. So yeah, roughly 35 days, give or take. Now obviously on completion I only had about 40% of the tech tree spaded. That's what I'm doing now. I'm going back through all the planes that I've unlocked and putting a spade on every single one of them so I can complete the tech trees in full. At the moment it's been about 2 months since I've unlocked the tech tree and I'm up to about 70% of the tree spaded. So the whole thing, to unlock every aircraft in the game and then spade them all with the premium account, you're probably looking at 12 months. And that would have the entire air trees done with absolutely nothing to do but fly for fun in the skies. Now tanks, I'm lagging behind a little bit on the moment. I've got all of Era 1, 2 and 3 unlocked for Russia and Germany. I'm just getting ready to start on Era 4, but unfortunately with the lighting changes that actually necessitated the need for my computer upgrade, I haven't been able to play tanks any further. Even without the recording software running at the moment, I only average about 15 frames a second, which as far as I'm concerned is unplayable. Tanks will begin advancing again once the new computer arrives, and that will add additional time onto that. But just talking on the tech trees, yeah, you're looking at about 35 days to get every plane in the game. And the last question I'm commonly asked at the moment is about all the name changes I've been going through. Have they been working? Why have I been doing it? Things to that nature. So yes, I've been changing my name a lot recently, mainly because, well, as I'm sure you've worked out, a lot of people are trying to kill me. Now, normally that doesn't bother me. In fact, in some ways it actually helps me. It's much easier to chase down a Mustang when he flies to you in an attempt to kill you because your name's Mags and you have a YouTube channel than it is to be in a slower aircraft trying to chase a Mustang across the map to kill it. However, recently I've been spading a lot of aircraft that are not particularly good. Things like the Wellington Mark 10, Spavero models, some of the Yurs. These planes are fairly vulnerable at the best of times, and then having a whole, usually groups of people and at least 2 or 3, that will go out of their way to try and shoot you down just because you have a YouTube channel is making things difficult. Yeah, the name change is working for about an hour. it usually buys me a window of about an hour's time that people don't realise it's me. After that, people tend to clue on, and at that point, it goes back to normal. So I go through and I change the name again. I cycle my name when I'm running these hard aircraft for spading purposes about once an hour, and it seems to fix the problem. So yes, it does work, and that is why I have been doing it. Alright, ladies and gents, we've come to the end of this video. Just an extra thing to add on the end of this. I didn't have time to set up a straw poll as I've been rather busy getting all of this organised, but throw in the comments of this video the name of the aircraft that you would like to see me fly next, make and model. I'm going to select the top 3 aircraft that are voted on by you, my subscribers, and these will be 3 of the first aircraft that I fly out under the new machine. So drop the comments in. Also, if you have any questions you want to ask me, try and drop them in this video as well. I'll be coming back to this video when I do my next vlog to work out what I'm going to answer on the next one. Until next time, fly smart, fly safe, and I'll catch you in the skies.